Alright. So, we are live. And last time we were here, I had set up Pink Science production. So I have Science 5. Now the only thing I need is all of the other sciences. And then I can finish off the tech tree. So, let's go to crafting and just start from 1 and then move up. So we need machinery parts and technum rods. Are both of those things over in this vicinity? Please say they are. Not looking great. Alright, no, we're gonna have to go back and get them. Machinery parts are here. And I'm stuck under a random belt. Alright, so we just have to pop that in there. And put the balancer on. And then this can come along and out through this. If I can get it to place. Thank you. Alright. Can we just go here the entire way? Looks like it. I need to make this foundation larger so that there's something to stand on out here. Alright, so we have that. We have the machinery parts, which are just going to keep on going. And we're going to have to restock on belts. Let's head over here and do that real quick. Yoink. Alright, now we head back. Machinery parts. So that wraps around something like that and then gets to there. I have to build out the new section, of course. So we need a container. And we need some assemblers. And then the container is going to need to be lined up properly. Get the button. It's Q to copy in this game, right? I was hitting middle mouse button, which is the Satisfactory button. Alright, so this has 2 inputs and an output. And Science Pack 1. So let's get this all set up. And we'll just get this first one. So we get a short input, a medium input, and a long output. Alright, then this has to just come around there and down and in. Alright, and then we need technum rods, which might be all the way back at the very beginning, but hopefully aren't. Hopefully I've used them somewhat recently. Don't have to build the world's longest belt again. It's not looking good. It's looking a lot like I'm going to have to build the world's largest belt again. Alright. Technum rods, where are you? Where are you? They actually just never used? Like, what? Yeah, apparently literally just electronic components and stuff before that. Alright, well, let's pop some of those on there. And drag this out. It's going to have to go up over some stuff. And continue going up over some stuff. And then we can zigzag under that one, and then let's see, if we just go to the side, we can probably juke around this and go through here. No, we get stuck. So we have to go up over that anyways. And then this just comes out and over. This whole corner section is very cramped, but ultimately that's not a problem. Shouldn't have space problems realistically. Power of 3 dimensions. Alright, then we go there. And I think we dodge under that one, since it's relatively easy to do. And then we have to come along over here. Something like that. One more slope down. So that needs to be a little bit earlier. Alright. So that's that. Now, did I ever automate assembler 3s? Pretty sure I did, right? There's got to be around here somewhere. Yeah, here they are. Let's grab a bunch of those. And now we can expand out our Science Pack 1 production. How much do we need? So that's 4 a minute. These are 2 a minute, so theoretically we would only need half as many of this as the other ones, but I'm just going to go a little bit crazy. And get there, and there. Alright, so that should be more than enough basic science. And we put in the belts. And we put in the loaders. Alright, then the middle lanes go in. And finally the output lanes go in. But no, not there. Long outputs, not the short ones. Oh, okay. We've run out of power. Note to self, expand solar panel production. Craft 1. Need more energy cells. Do I have energy cells here? Is that a thing that I made, or... I think it probably isn't. Alright, well, power has died. We're gonna have to wait until morning to do anything. In the meantime, let's head over to the old factory, grab a bunch of energy cells, and be ready to place a bunch of solar panels. I was kind of worried that would happen. I checked just before stream and the batteries weren't entirely filled. So it's not that surprising, but it is definitely annoying. Alright, so we head over here. And we just need to find the energy cells, which should be this, but aren't. It is empty. Something ran out and has killed our supply of energy cells. So that's a problem. That's a bit of a problem. So I have to wait until day to see if there are any just like lying around in these machines that I can grab. Or can I... How do you craft an energy cell? Just fluid assembler only. Oh. This little guy has gotten underneath the factory, it seems. Let's dig him out and accept some quests that I've probably already done because I haven't looked at him in a while. Hello, my guy. Underground mining. Success, we did that at some point.
That's right. Underground mining will allow us to acquire large amounts of ore very quickly. I really enjoy visiting the deep, dark depths of the mine shafts. How about you, BB?
Alright. So that's that. And then we're just gonna have to do some of that stuff at some point. It's almost daytime, which means we almost have power. Is this... Did this ever run... Yeah, that's completely empty of ignium, unsurprisingly. At this point... And that... I assume this patch is just completely gone and it's not another distance problem. Well, technically there is a tiny bit in the wall still, but it's not worth setting up more to get. Alright, power, please turn on so I can see what's going on. Xenoferrite plates, electronic components, glass, and aluminum acid. So I think we can set up energy cells at the new factory relatively easily, although we'll have to get a mineral rock deposit for that, which we're going to need to do anyway because science stuff requires it. Alright. Power will be on any minute now. See, the little bar underneath the profit is how far through the hour we are. And the solar panels will turn on at 8, and with it the power network. I don't just have... I have the one solar panel in my inventory. It's obviously not enough. Alright. Power is apparently on now. Cool. But as I was worried, there are not any particular energy cells in there because it is short on alumic acid. Really? Is that what it's short on? Why is it short on that? Shouldn't that be like near infinite? Let's check. This is the pipe with the alumic acid that's supposed to be in it. Oh no, alumic acid requires ignium powder, which we obviously don't have anymore. Okay. So that's fine. we're going to need to then make energy cells at the new factory, and that's just what we're going to have to do next. Somewhat urgently, too. So I think we have... We're missing the mineral rocks, right? Because these require glass, which requires gravel, which requires mineral rocks. So let's get a new input set up for that. Also, speaking of doing things, I need to be buying space station upgrades. So let's stop by and do that real quick. Alright, space station, R&D lab, lightbot, sail quality, station upgrade, construction drone bay. Can we just keep upgrading that? Alright. So now we need a cargo shuttle target pad, which requires steel beams. So let's grab some of those. Alright, so we get some of those. We get a target pad. We get a start pad. And we didn't accidentally grab the liquid version of either of those, so that's good. Alright. And then we're gonna need power for this, so I guess we'll just craft a bunch of large power poles and drag power over from the base, since obviously the entire problem is that we can't get power from solar panels on site. Alright, now let's find some mineral rocks. Yeah, as I expected, there's a decent sized patch, not terribly far. I mean, it's not huge, but it's also close. So we're gonna make that a mineral rock patch. Alright. So now we head over that way. And off we go. Distance is too high. Where is the farthest we can go? That, apparently. And then there. And then there-ish. Alright, then that distance is too high. There we go. That's a good spot for it. And we keep on moving. That's pretty much perfect, I think. Alright, now we are right on top of it. And how far down is it? Height of 47. Alright. This might be way more annoying than I was expecting. Actually, can I just elevator my way down? Where's the elevators? The freight elevators are there. Personnel elevator, where are you? Person elevator. Where? Am I just blind? Freight elevator 1, freight elevator 2, freight elevator 3. Ah, there it is. let's get this in just there. Should be good. And we need to like get it into a more convenient spot. There, so it's powered on. Alright. So we call that surface, and that's just here. Add station. Patch, which is going to be like 50, I guess. And click confirm, and now that should start mining down in a less annoying way. Now, in the meantime, we're also going to need a freight elevator in order to bring it back up. So we need to basically just clear out a relatively flat area over here. Alright, freight elevator. So we need 2 of those, a top and a bottom. Actually, that's going to be in the way, right? Let's put it over here. Somewhere where it isn't in the way. That doesn't need to be powered or anything. So yeah, that should be fine. And has this finished making the thing? No, it is still going. It is making its way down. I recently just noticed... no, don't shift tab. I've noticed that I am very low on foundations. So I'm going to run back and grab some. I can do that while the elevator digs. Also, I'm going to need to go back and grab more jetpack fuel at some point. Alright, so get over here, and we grab some of those. And we should also just grab some of you while we're at it. And apparently I'm low on those as well. Everything else looks fine. Alright. So that's that. Now we're going to need to fly back to the fuel source. So we have our jetpack fuel production is annoyingly very far away. So we're going to have to head over there and grab that. Alright. Let's not fly the whole way. Let's stick close to the ground. Just to save fuel. It would be really awkward if we ran out before we got there. We're just gonna run along. And it's right up ahead. 130 meters away. And almost there. Alright, where did I leave it? In this box. Cool. Alright, we grab that. And we now have plenty of fuel. So now we can fly back. hopefully the mineral rock patch will be done mining by now. I can get down to the bottom and start exploding around there. So up we go. And just about there. Alright, is this finished? It is. So we can click the button and go down. Now in the meantime, I believe these are blast resistant, so I should be able to just throw explosives around once I'm down there to clear out a space. It is. Alright. Kaboom. Mineral rocks. Easy peasy. So let's just clear a good amount of room around here. And I believe the miner was over here. Alright, and let's just blow up that corner for even more space. Alright, so now we build a foundation. Let's build it like there. Nice convenient level for a foundation to be on. And I just realized I didn't bring any drone miners, but fortunately we have the ability to craft them. So let's just get some of these in. And we need a transformer down here. Apparently can only make one small transformer. Alright, and can we just hook that up directly? Alright, so now the drone miners are drone mining. And this corner apparently needs to be dug out even more. Alright, so we can put one more in there. And then twist that around like that. So these just all need to output onto the belt. And then we need to put freight elevator bottom over there. Which I didn't quite get it lined up right. Let me see if I can get it on the right level. I can just build the foundation out. And we pop that in. And it'll be doing its thing with making the elevator. So that will happen eventually. And this just comes along and input. Alright, so that should be some, at least. Let's get more. So let's just dig a little hole in there. That's gonna blow up. Yeah, that blew up one of my miners. Oh, it blew up two of them. The explosions are always slightly larger than you expect them to be. So now we have to get rid of all this rubble. And make another couple drone miners. Alright, so we put in the 2 that were already there. And then we need space to connect more up to this belt. So we can just squeeze another 2 there. That should be enough for the full thing. So we get those 2 in. Then we take this belt around like that, and should be good. So at some point in the future that will stop digging and we will have the mineral rocks. Now we go up to the surface and build the output. Or what's it called? The cargo shuttle. Yeah, cargo shuttle launch pad. Alright. So now we're gonna head up. And boy, these elevator rides sure do take a while. We're traveling a huge distance. Also, it's nighttime, so I'm expecting to lose power at like any minute now. Yep, the mining is taking place. You can tell by the giant chasm underneath that. Uh-oh. Well, that was almost a serious problem. Let's, can we... No, that hole just exists? Okay. Just gotta be careful around the edges of the elevator shaft. Noted. Alright, so we just put the foundation in. And we need a big one with a lot of space. So we're going to have to head over this way. And make our launch pad there. Alright, start pad. And we plop that in. Now we just have to bring this over to it. And we need to set up the whole loading system. So get that in. And we have a whole bunch of outputs, which go nowhere in particular. Then we have the inputs on the other side. Alright, so now we have that. So now we just simply bring this belt along there and in. And no power. That's because it's not hooked up to this, right? So we need another transformer, which I guess is going to be a large one because I don't have the materials to craft a small one. Alright, so then this can go in there. And they don't have enough reach there. So let's make sure we have a couple more of those. And a couple more of those. And powered. Although the grid itself is also dead, so that's fun. So now we need to wait for day again. And once the sun rises, we can get this set up. And then once we have this set up, we can make energy cells to make more solar panels to make sure that this doesn't continue to happen. And it didn't make it even that far into nighttime this time, which is somewhat concerning. The good news is the mineral rock production seems to be working, if only the loaders were powered. And also I just realized I never put a loader on that. There you go. So now once it's daytime and the loader gets powered, we will be able to have mineral rocks going into the cargo shuttle. And I guess, like, I need to change this and give it a destination, but I just physically can't do that while it's unpowered. So I guess we go back over here and just set up the other side, and we'll return to that side in the daytime. Alright. Do we have enough building blocks to make another cargo shuttle area? Maybe? Cargo shuttle target pad. Yes, we do. Okay, I'm not used to their not... In Satisfactory, you can hit H and hold it and then, like, move around, look at it from different angles, and nudge it into place. In this game, you just sort of gotta eyeball it. So we do that. That's in. Now we set up the unloading system. Which, we have that. We have 5 inputs. Then we have this one with all of the outputs. And then we just run the belts along. Alright, so that's that. And now we just need to bring this onto the foundation and give me one more loader, just so I don't have to walk all the way across the factory to grab another one. Alright, then this... How do we get out? I think we have to get out this way. There's not a huge amount of space with all these cargo shuttles. Alright, so then this just has to ramp up just like the other ones. And I could build that with a conveyor belt, but that seems like a lot of work, so I'm not going to. Alright, so then this needs to make it all the way over there. Actually, hang on. I'm gonna just give this a shortcut. As long as it goes under the factory, so we're gonna bring this down to, like, there. And then rather than going along the whole giant main belt, we're just gonna send that along that way. So we can dodge under everything and take a much more direct path, not have all the traffic with all the other stuff. Alright, so that does that. And then comes up and on. Alright, we need to resupply on a bunch of things. Fortunately, we are right here. So let's grab some more of those. And I could probably use more slopes. Let's grab those and those. And we should be resupplied for the time being. Alright, so this is our belt of mineral rock. And we need to take it over here. And where is it? It's just gravel, right? There's no other thing to make mineral rock with, I think. So let's see. We need a box. We need a bunch of crushers. Do we have a bunch of crushers? Crushers. Where would you be? I don't... Alright, we have 2. Pop those 2 in. And I'm pretty sure I haven't automated these, so I'm just gonna do some clicking and manual craft them. Alright, then this belt comes along there. And those 2 go in. And this belt comes out. And we do that whole thing again. And that's gravel. So then once we have gravel, we need to make glass, which is a smelter recipe, apparently. So let's get another one of those. Okay, we're still crafting all of those crushers. We can skip crafting the extra ones for now. And smelters go in. Then that loops around like that. And we get our inputs. Oh, these also need to have outputs. I just realized I never put those in. So those get those. And these get them as well. With the output belt there. And boom. Alright, so that should make the glass. And it is almost daytime, so we can almost go back and start setting those other things. So we're going to start flying now. So we need to call this rock supplier, and then we need to tell the other one to go to the rock supplier, and then we will get the mineral rocks into the new factory. Alright, that's this one. Mineral rock supplier. Save. Now we fly over to the patch, rename that one. And then we're just gonna have to make energy cells, which I don't remember what the other ingredients are, but I think I already have them. Alright, so now we're here. And you go to mineral rock supplier. Cool. Alright, so once that is all loaded and set up, then that can happen. So we've done everything for the inputs. Now we just need to go back and make the energy cells themselves. And also set some of the recipes on those machines that we were building while we didn't have power. I have to do that as well. So, over here we go. So you are crushers, and you can make gravel. How much does this do? Not that much. So let's get in another couple then. Just to make sure that this is nice and fast. And I've set all of these wrong. So these are all set as intakes instead. And these ones are the outputs. Alright, so that should be a whole lot of gravel. Now the glass smelting, I actually just have no idea because it doesn't say. It's 5 gravel to 1 glass, so it's a gravel per second, so that's 60 per minute each. Again, it would be nice to have a couple more of those. Where are the advanced smelters? Alright. This will be fine for now, I guess. Just want to get them started. You get an input, you get an output, and that is glass produced. Now we need to make energy cells. So do we have alumic acid? I know we have all the other things. So that's low density alumite. This one is alumic acid. Alright, cool. So the electronic components are there, the aluminum acid is there, the glass is here. We just need to find the xenoferrite plates. Let's see. It's quite likely that I haven't had to bring xenoferrite plates all the way back here. Yeah, look, they stop here. Alright, so we pop that in, and I might not have given this enough space to ramp up, actually. Yeah, we're gonna move that back a good bit. So along this alley is a good spot for it. I just put it too late on the alley for it to actually fit in. Alright, so now that is high enough for it to go around here. Can we just sneak in there? That's very space efficient. Alright, we're gonna need to get out and around all this. And then come all the way over here. And keep on going. Alright. So that's xenoferrite plates, check. Actually, let's build the actual setup for these. So we need a box. Alright, we need to grab some parts. We need to grab some parts. We are very, very low on stuff. So it was steel beams, advanced machinery parts. Let's see here. Steel beams, advanced machinery parts. Where are you made? I do not remember. Before this, yes. Here are the advanced machinery parts. Grab 2 stacks of those. The steel beams ought to be right around here. Yeah, I almost missed them. Grab a couple stacks of those. make 4 of those just so that we have some spare. And next up are xenoferrite plates. Alright. So that's all good. And fluid assemblers, we can make 10 of them. Let's start by making 5. And we probably need more pipes as well. So let's tell you to make a lot of pipes. Alright. So now we can drop in here, put the box in, put in a fluid assembler. Energy cells is 3 inputs and an output. So we need space for a belt on the other side. Like that. Yeah, so then we can just fit the glass around the back. And tell you to make energy cells. So I assume that this thing here will be the aluminic acid input. Yep. Alright, so you get the glass input there. The box can be moved up to be in line properly. Then we have 2 more inputs and an output. Alright. So, we have glass in already. Next, we need the xenoferrite plates. So those can just be this. No, please. Build that up. And then this just has to meet it. And against that. Then we're also going to need that. Alright, 1 more input, the electronic components, which are fortunately quite close. Pop, pop. And electronic components coming over. So now this goes down and in. Alright, and now we just need the aluminic acid, which goes in the back. So we just put that pipe in there. And which one of these was it? That was low density alumite. Is this the aluminic acid? Yes, this was the aluminic acid. Alright, so we just need to, I guess, just pop a intersection in there. Reasonably likely that we'll have to put a pump in, but I really hope that we won't. Alright, so then that is going to rotate, bring this up a bit, just to be out of the way of everything else. And now we bring the pipe over. And we continue bringing the pipe over. Alright, now we just rotate this down. Please, buttons work. Alright, then we bring it down there. And the pipes go in. Alright. That should be that. And we just need to attach these up to this. So you get an output there, and an input there. And then we're going to want a couple of those. Like that. And those all go in. Then these all go in. Then the outputs all go in. And I almost missed this one. Alright, that's that, and it's not going very fast, is it? The aluminum acid and the glass both seem to be... Oh, I never hooked the glass up to any of these. Gotta do that. Boom. Boom. And then these all get their T intersections. And they get all those. And this whole thing should start working now. And we should once again be producing energy cells. That's pretty cool. Yep, all of these are now working. And how much is this? A lot of aluminum acid, not a huge amount of anything else. Although we might want to make more glass production. Get rid of these steel beams, which we used all of them on the pipes, of course. So we're going to have to head back over here, grab more steel beams to get more smelters in. And here we go. And make another couple of those. Then we need to grab some circuit boards because we're low on those. One stack of that should be fine. And apparently we don't have any electronic components, which I don't think we need them immediately, but we're going to need them at some point soon, so I may as well grab them. This game is just a never-ending stream of picking up stuff out of boxes. Alright, and now night has fallen, which means this is all going to turn off soon. Oh boy. I can't wait for the entire factory to do nothing for a while. Alright, let's get another couple of these in. And that. And buttons. All of those. And that should be good, probably. This isn't an incredible amount of gravel, but it should be enough. The important thing is we now have a supply of energy cells, which means we can craft a whole bunch of solar panels. And it is, of course, nighttime, so we're going to run out of power in a minute. But hopefully we can just get enough solar panels down to last us a while. I really feel like there ought to be some, like, higher tech power, like, I don't know, nuclear or something that isn't solar powered. Alright. So that's all that. We're going to need more energy cells to do more than that. So let's just expand that out. And place in some more solar panels. Need so many solar panels in order to last through the night. Just an absolutely heaping amount of them. So we're going to plop all these in. And expand that out. And just keep on placing until we're out, which was very quick apparently. Okay, now I need to hook all of these up. Alright, so now we have that. We bring that power connection across. So all those solar panels are attached up. And when day comes, we can use them for more power. In the meantime, we are about to run out again, I can tell. Let's check the batteries. Yep, down to 16% already. Alright, so we do have like the option of setting up where they boilers or whatever and steam turbines, which I guess if like we could just like have Ignium buy it or something to power that, to get some power going through the night, which would really significantly offset all of the problem we have, because if it's running 24/7, that would be convenient. But how much does one steam turbine even make? 3.6 megawatts, so 10 of these would make 36. That's quite a lot. How much does a solar panel make? 650, and only half the time, so it's more like 300. Yeah, it's probably worth it. It's probably worth it to get a steam turbine setup going. But I don't know. I really just like the vibe of the solar power. So I think we're gonna just keep expanding the solar power to ridiculous heights. So let's grab those, make another bunch of those, and keep on placing. Alright, so we have this whole giant field of solar panels. It's looking kind of ugly, just sort of like as a long strip, so I think we're going to expand it out sideways. Let's grab some foundations. And expand that out that way. I get the feeling that this is going to make it look a lot worse. Oh well. The solar panel must expand. Alright, I really want this to go all the way to the back. Like that. So now we just need to grab more, what do we need? Techno rods, wire cables, that sort of thing. Let's grab a couple stacks of that. Grab a couple stacks of that. And craft even more of those. Because we have the ability to, and we have the necessity to, so we may as well. Alright. This whole crafting the circuit boards manually is taking a lot of time. But we can get another couple of those in. And then another couple in. Alright. Once we get these last couple, then we're going to make sure to hook them all up, because that would be an important thing to forget. Alright, so we've made a new row. And then almost done with these new ones. So let's put that in. How is that lined up? Lined up like that, I guess. Alright, now we need to craft some more power lines to hook all these up to each other. And this whole thing is kind of becoming a maze in terms of what can be connected and what can't. What? Why'd you do that? Don't do that. Alright, so then this comes up. And in there. And then that hooks up to that, which apparently we need more power pole smalls. So then let's hook that up over to there, and now all those solar panels should be connected. Is this whole line not connected? Yeah, this whole line isn't connected. Let's get them in. Alright. Are these two... No, those two are connected. They just are sort of the end of the lines of two different lines. I guess we can connect them together. That won't hurt anything. Alright. By this point, of course, power is completely gone. But the number of solar panels has expanded substantially. We're up to 113. So now we're just going to have to see how much that is. And hope that it's enough. I have to wait until morning to get anything done. We can't even contact the space station because we have no power. Alright, well, anything else that we can do productively while we wait? Is there anything else? I guess we can set up a new production line for more science. So we have blue science and we have pink science. And we were missing everything in between, if I remember correctly. Yep, we set that up. It's got a good 1,000 in it. For no real reason. Got this one, which I limited down to 500. I think I'm gonna limit this one down to 500 as well. Alright, so then the next tier of science, we need conveyor ones and building blocks. Oh boy, conveyor ones. That'll be fun to set up. So we just need that and that. We're just going to set this up hypothetically. Conveyor ones, building blocks, output. So we set up the sort of basic first setup. And that. And that. And we'll have to expand this later, obviously, depending on how much we want. Alright. Conveyor ones and building blocks. Building blocks are over here, right? Building blocks, yes. So we can take that. We're just gonna do that. It's probably not the most ideal place to take it from, but who cares? Alright, then this comes all the way over. And it's way out there, which is fine, I guess. And in. Alright, building blocks check. Next up, conveyor ones. Conveyor ones, where are they? They're going to be in here somewhere. Conveyor ones are on this belt here, which also goes around into there. Alright, is there... Can I just, like, grab the this end of the belt? Yeah, I can do that. That'll be fine. We're just going to expand it out a lot in case we ever need to expand that, which we shouldn't. Alright, so we stock. And was this the belt we were dealing with? Yes. Alright, so then this goes out that way. And this comes along here. And then goes all the way over here. Something like that. And so that lines up perfectly, actually. How did I do that? I have no idea how I managed that, but there we go. And it is 7:30, so we're about to get power. So let's... we kind of have to wait for this to power on so we can give it a recipe. Alright, then this... we want to limit this to 500. Alright, power has reappeared. So you're Science Pack 2s. And how much is this? Really quite a lot. So we're just gonna expand you out. And just a couple more for good measure. And this should be good enough. So we just tap the belts all up. And put the loaders in. And then we put the mid-level loaders in. And how did I mess that one up? It's fine. And then we put the outputs in. And boom. Another flavor of science, fully automated. Alright, so green science, we need concrete and fermilite bars. Now the fermilite bars are kind of awkward because I've imported fermilite sheets into this factory, but not bars, so we're going to have to do that, and then we're going to have to make concrete. So let's start by making the concrete. And let's just give us a nice big space there. Now, if I were concrete, how would I be made? Cement, gravel, and water. And cement is mineral rocks and xenoferrite ore rubble. Well, that's incredibly cursed. I have to grab xenoferrite ore rubble specifically. Okay. Back we go. Back we go to the xenoferrite ore rubble. Alright, xenoferrite ore rubble is going to be one of the first things in the entire factory. Yep. Here it is. Incredible that there's no alt recipes for any of that. There are very few alt recipes in general, like there's the advanced processing ones, and that's it. Feels like there should be more. Maybe I'm just used to Satisfactory, but having to be stuck with exactly one recipe for everything in the game is very limiting. Alright, so this comes along, and I think we want it to go up just to not be in the way of stuff that needs to use the ground, as this just goes right by. Alright, then this goes along here. Alright, xenoferrite ore rubble, check. Mineral rocks are also in this vicinity, and that's made in a crusher. Okay, so we get these in. Just put down like 4 of them. Yeah, I should have set that up beforehand, but there we go. Now we run in those 2 and the output. And these all get... Oh, actually this is more complicated than that, because the crushers are small. Alright, so we have to dismantle all of that. And we need 2 behind it for a belt to run back there. So there you go. And now you get 1 input there, 1 output there, and 1 input there. Alright, so the ore rubble can just go... Okay, we actually need to start that descending a little bit earlier, so down we go. And in. Alright, ore rubble, check. Yeah, xenoferrite ore rubble, sure enough. Keep looking at it as if it's going to change, but that is just what it is. Alright, then we grab mineral rocks. Put that in. And you go up. And there you go. Nice and easy. Wait, no, wrong. Wrong. Stop it. This is not the second input, this is the output. Clumsy of me. So instead, it has to go in there, which just means turning here. No, why would it? You place it like that. And going down like that. And we just need to get rid of all of this. Alright. So that's two inputs. Input, 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 input. Wait, no, not gravel. Alright, and then the outputs. There and there. Alright, so let's get a couple more of these in. And set all the belts up. And they all get the inputs. And they all get the inputs. And no, don't output to that belt. They all get the outputs. Alright, that is cement. So we have cement, we have gravel, we have water somewhere around here. And that gets made in a casting machine. So let's make us a casting machine. Where are those? Boilers, steam turbines, casting machine. Make a couple of those. And we're going to have to set them down and figure out the whole situation with them. Alright, so they don't have any need for rear inputs and outputs, so we can just pop them down there. Make concrete and water in the left. That's all. Okay. Easy enough. And then two inputs and an output along the front. Okay. So really not that bad at all. So we just put the box in. We just put the casting machine in. And to get input 1, input 2, output. And then you get intake, long intake, long output, and then you get that whole situation there. And we just need cement, gravel, and water. So the cement obviously is just going to wrap around there, nice and easy. The gravel is, we need to split this. So the gravel comes around here, gets some space, and gets there, then goes up and over, and there we go. Cement check, gravel check, although the... What is this? What is this? Why is this what you've decided to do? Okay, well, we're gonna have to disinfect that little belt. Alright, so this was glass. And that was gravel. Thank you. Very cool. It doesn't look like that's jammed or anything. Looks like the gravel's just working as intended, although we need more of it. Gravel supplies are obviously not sufficient. Let's make a whole bunch more crushers. In the meantime, we can expand the belts out. And actually, I can just do this based on positioning. So we have those in. Now we can put the machines in. And they'll just instantly start up. And there we go. So we should have more gravel now. Whether that's enough or not, it's hard to say, but that's output of 60. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this should be a full belt's worth of gravel. That should be fine then. And then this has gravel, has concrete, and it just needs water. So I believe I had a water pipe over there somewhere, but it's obviously just going to be much faster to just put a new one in. So we get one of those. And we drag a foundation down. And a liquid intake. Then we put the pipe, bring the water up, and corner, across we go. And the water goes in this side right, so we're gonna have to do a fun little U-turn. And I think that has to be a T intersection for the sake of future things. But that's water. So that's one gravel producer setup. Oh, and we can't have it like that. We need space. So how many machines of this do I need? Probably a good couple. Let's make more casting machines. And that will be a good start, at least. We'll see if we have shortages and expand accordingly. We need to restock on belts, so let's head over and do that. Alright. Belts, belts, belts. Yoink. And I'll grab more building material as well. We're obviously going to need that at some point. Alright, so now we're over here. We expand this belt out, and then we expand the return belt back. Alright, so these all get one of those, and they all get one of these. And they all get a long output. Bop, 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 and bop. Alright, now we just have to do the water pipes. And I'm realizing this would have been more convenient if I'd built them sideways. Then the pipes would have all been on the front. We wouldn't have to do all this, but it's fine. So we are going to bring this. And I think the way we want to do this, because if we just grab off of the back, eventually we're going to run out of pipe back there, and it's going to be mildly annoying. So I think we just run that pipe along. And then we put these in as corner pieces. Like that. Then we take these out because they need to become T-intersections. Then we put the T-intersections in. And finally, we connect them all up with straight pipes. Alright. That should be that. Yeah, look, these are starting up. This one isn't, though? Yeah, it is. Alright, so that is... how much concrete? Like, a decent amount, probably. Alright, so now we have concrete. We have advanced machinery parts somewhere around here. We need to bring in the Thermalite bars. Yeah, okay, whatever. Alright, so we need to bring Thermalite bars down from the space station, which involves a giant landing pad type of thing there. Need to manually craft an emergency beacon. And then grab some machinery parts and electronic components. I don't need that many. Alright, so that's that, and machinery parts. I'm just gonna grab a couple and craft you up. Alright, now we can get this shipping pad in. And I would like you to give me Thermalite bars. Confirm. Min amount to move. Yeah, that's all fine. So you're coming down already. There you go. That's nice. Nice and convenient. Alright, so now we have Thermalite bars. We just need to... that's going to be an assembler, I assume. We need more logistics containers. We need to grab a restock of xenoferrite plates. Let's fly all the way over there and grab those. All the way on the other end of the giant factory. Xenoferrite plates. Be one of these. Yes, this one. Alright, grab a bunch of those. Craft up a couple of those. And should be good to go for now. We return. We return and start setting up the next thing. Alright, so we are back over here. And we need one of those. And we need one of those. So you get to make Science Pack 3s. Oh, this is 3 inputs and an output. Which means it needs to be like that. Alright, so the first input, the concrete, just going to loop around back there. And there you go, that's one input done. Then we need the Thermalite, which just comes directly out of here and in there. Old Thermalite bars. Alright, so then you get an intake for that. Then we have a second intake and an output. So let's get that all sorted. And all of those set up. Oh, that's not supposed to be an output. That is an input. So now we just need the advanced machinery parts. Advanced machinery parts. Pretty sure they're... yeah, they're back here. Now, how does one get them out from back here? I guess we can take off from there. Alright, so now we have that in. We can have them do that. Then go up even further to avoid that. And come along this way. Alright, so now they just go down and in. Alright. So that's that. And probably get a couple of these in. It's pretty likely that there's going to be a bottleneck in there somewhere. Like the concrete seems pretty likely to be a problem. So we'll just have to see what the bottlenecks are, if any, and react accordingly. So these all get those, then they all get these. Then they get the outputs, and then we're going to have to wrap around the back to put the final belt in. Alright, so that goes on there, and then all of these get to start up. Alright, and that is another type of science. And we're going to set that to store a max of 500. Just a good, reasonable number. Alright, if I'm correct, one more type of science left. We need circuit boards, energy cells, and fermilite sheets to make Science Pack 4s. So let's get these in. Actually, it needs to be like that, right? Yeah, it needs to be like that. Alright, so we have that all set up. And we tell you to make Science Pack 4s. So we need one thing that just goes directly behind. And we have 2 ordinary inputs and 1 output. So let's set this one up first. We have that. We have that. We have that. We have that. And that. And that. Alright, so that's all hooked up. Now we just need to attach it to the actual input. So we need circuit boards, cells, and sheets. So I believe energy cells should be right around here, right? Yeah, here they are. Also, I just realized it's nighttime again, so we're going to see if our solar panel improvements worked. Alright, then this slopes down and in. So that's energy cells. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is fermilite sheets. And what's step number 3? It's sheets and circuit boards, right? I remembered. Alright. Here are the sheets. So let's get these out. Bop, bop. And now this comes along. And boy, it's sort of in a extremely cramped portion of this. But we made it out. So now this just comes along here. And I think we can descend this early enough to get in this one. So there we go. That's 2 inputs. Now we just need to go and grab circuit boards. And also, while we're in that vicinity, we can check the battery to see how well it's held up. Oh, we found our answer. Everything has died as of like 5 seconds ago. That's most of the way through the night, at least. Alright, here's the circuit boards. They're directly underneath the xenoferrite plates. Alright, I think I see... we can get them out here. Please... how do we get this in? Alright, there we go. Barely. Now this comes along, and it's just going to go up and over. Now we come along this way. This is the extremely dense part, but we should make it through easily. And then we just go down and in. Alright, so that's that. And yep, there come the circuit boards. Alright, that should be all of the types of science producing once we get this expanded out, obviously. Alright, so that is that. And we're going to have to get all this set up, which we may as well do before daytime. Alright, so that's all set up. Now we just need to put these in. Alright, those are in. Then we come around this side, and we start putting these ones in. Then we go for the middle length ones. And I don't know why I didn't place a couple times. I definitely clicked, but whatever. And then the outputs. And that is every type of science. Alright, so we obviously need more solar panels. We need so many solar panels. And I think probably setting up a steam engine just as backup power so that things can technically run throughout the night, even if at like low percentage, is probably a pretty good idea. Alright, it's almost daytime. Things are going to start turning back on again. And what do we need to make solar panels? We need machinery parts, circuit boards, and glass. Now, the messed up part is that the more stuff I grab from these to build solar panels, the more these machines run, which means the more power we use. Alright, so let's just grab a couple stacks of that. Alright, so then we need circuit boards and glass, which are going to be here, probably. Circuit boards, check. And finally, glass. And I should probably just set up a production line to automatically produce solar panels. And then I could just like spam down 100 of them. where is the glass? There's the glass. So we get those in, and then we need to grab more energy cells. Alright, yeah, let's see how many... This is 5 inputs and 1 output, so it is technically possible, but very difficult to automate. Let's just focus on getting the solar panels physically placed down for now. It's time-consuming enough as it is. Alright, so we're going to need that space and expand out that way as well. And no, don't go there. Please demolish the solar panel. I don't know why its hitbox wasn't showing up to be demolished there. That was concerning. Alright, so we're gonna get all of these in, and we're gonna have to re-manage the power cables for all of this. So we're going to add more solar panels in and hopefully overcome this problem that we've had. To connect along this way. And do that weird thing. Now we need to make more power lines. There are really a lot of things that I haven't automated, which I really should have by this point. Like power lines and probably solar panels as well, honestly. Alright. Almost there. Alright, so that's even more solar power. Then, the next thing I want to do is I want to set up a permanent ignium generator. So I am buying ignium off the galactic market already. So I just need a good amount of space over there. And let's get... Well, I don't have many resources to build things with, do I? So what was I doing? Smelters, no. Steam turbines and boilers. So I need machinery parts and electronic components. Alright, machinery parts and electronic components. Where are you coming from? There you are. Grab a couple stacks of you. Grab a couple stacks off of you. And where are we? Alright, so that is... So these are like 1-to-1, right? This is output 360 steam. This is intake 360 steam. So I also need steel beams in order to do all this. Steel beams. Alright, where were we? Alright, so we have 4 steam turbines and 4 boilers. And we just need to connect that up to water. And it should be good. Alright, so we get over here. I don't know why I'm building it over here specifically, just sort of wherever. Boiler. Alright, boiler in. So that just inputs water and fuel. I mean, I'll copy the settings. Oh, because there just aren't settings, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Do I need... Where's the outputs on these, actually? Steam output is just on the back. The side doesn't do anything interesting. Alright, that's fine. So then we can just have those 4. And then the turbines back here. 1, 2. So for these, the steam goes in the side. Alright, so I think we discovered this last time that we can put these in sideways and have it work quite nicely. So, steam turbine. And go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope I don't have to mess with the panel a lot. Alright, now we just conveniently hook these up just perfectly. Didn't realize it worked that way, but that's brilliant. Alright, so we have that. Then we need to power this. So where is the ignium? It's right here. And I'm going to just say that this is a separate thing from the main belt. So we're just going to have that go off that way. And this is going to run back underneath here, as is sort of becoming tradition. Now it gets over here. And I think we do want to crush it. Crush it before we put it in. Right. Let's go crusher. And ignium ore. Ignium ore. Ignium ore. Ignium ore. And then that just takes in from those. And then outputs to a second belt. Which is just like that. And how much is this? Probably way more than this is ever going to need. Alright, then that runs across like that. And intake, 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 intake. Okay, I've just realized that these boilers need to access water somewhere, right? Input, output, any requires water to operate. What does that even mean? Okay. So we have actually messed this up then. We need to put some spacing in order for all of them to be able to have access to water. It'd be really cool if the pipes could flow straight through machines, but they can't. Alright, so we get boiler, which just goes like that, and then we just leave a one wide gap, and then we have the steam turbines behind them, which do the same thing, leaving the one wide gap. to get them to line up perfectly. Alright, now these pipes go across. Alright, so that is all good. Now we need to attach these up to the fuel, which just whatever. Some slap the intakes on, no problem. And now the water pipes. So we need, first of all, we need the water itself. So let's just get that in real quick. So pipe intake, and there. And oh boy, night is falling. If I don't finish this before night falls, we're not going to have any power, which would be really, really annoying. Alright, so let's just say something like that. Alright, so that's one setup at least. But that setup, why would you place that there? The setup isn't going to work for the other ones, but it should be close. Now apparently this needs to go even taller. So that goes up there in order to get over the balancer, or the, what's it called, the loader. Then that goes over that way. All of these ones go out. And then we get to figure out how to get all of these to the pipes. So those all will go within like that. And then up. And then corner. And we need these to go up. And then corner. And then corner. And forward. 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 And finally the T intersection. Why did you place that down there? You go there instead. And there. So we should have... Alright, we just need to connect these to the grid. How that's working, but something like that. And then we just need to find another power pole to attach these up to in order to get them all into the same high voltage grid as everything else. So we're just going to run a power pole just randomly back here. And then connect up to the grid, and done. So now if we head back over here and check, these are now producing power, 3.6 megawatts each, which isn't a lot, but it is helping. Because this used to be like minus 40 megawatts a minute. Now it's down to like minus 30. It's pretty good. And how much fuel is this even using? Hard to say, but like maybe... I mean, it's not a small amount. It's definitely some. It's not huge, though. These 4 crushers ought to be sufficient for it. Alright, so that is power hopefully stabilized. We also added more solar panels, so that'll also help. So with power hopefully being stable now, we can return back over here and start placing down these science research. What do they call it in this system? Research servers. Yes, so we need xenoferrite plates. So let's head over and grab some of those. And then see how fast we can do research with a whole bunch of research servers. Alright, xenoferrite plates. That's this one. Grab a couple hundred of you. And sure, let's make 20 of them. Why not? And then we're obviously gonna be out of these again, so let's grab some of those back. So that we aren't out of them immediately the next time we want to do something. Alright, now we just move all the way over here. And we just need to gather up the research. We also need, apparently, to grab building blocks and belts and inserters. Alright, so we need some of those. Sort the inventory real quick. Probably need some of those. Should be fine on the other stuff. And then we need some of those and some of those. Inventory is full. Get some of this junk out of here. I don't need all of that stuff in my inventory. I don't need xenoferrite rubble or stone. The rest of this stuff is like moderately helpful. The escalators can go. The lava smelters can go. I'll need them in the distant future, but I can just remake them then. Alright, now we're back over here, where we get to set up our research servers. Alright, so we get a big block stuff there. And let's see, how do we want to put these in? Just as if they were a normal building. No, we need space behind them. So yeah, we need 5 inputs for these. So we can go 3 in the back, 2 in the front. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then this should all work right. Just get you in. You get an input. You get an input. You get an input. You get an input. Yep. Alright, so that should be good. Now we just need to get the research in. So that's yellow. Here's green. So that slopes around. And then down this way. Alright, yellow, check. Green, check. Here's red. Getting this one out is going to be a little bit tricky. Get out to there, and then slope up. And then turn. And then what? And we just have to go around this, I guess. you just come around there. And in. Alright, so that is 3. 2 more to go. That's red science, which we just did. Then there's blue science, which is here, and pink science, which is 1 back. Alright, good. It seems like we haven't missed anything in terms of types of science. It'd be a shame if I had simply forgotten to make one of them. I was kind of worried that had happened, but apparently not. This will automatically jump over that obstruction there. That's good. Alright, then this goes there. And finally, pink science. Alright, so you need to... Gosh, you are really boxed in, aren't you? Okay. This is fine. You can probably get this out. Yeah, we can go up there. And then out this way. And then around like that. And let's see, to get under these, so that has to drop down immediately to get in there. All right, that is all types of science brought to this thingamabob. Now we get to stack like 20 of these next to each other, so that we can get the science working quick. This doesn't need to be that wide. This can just be like that. And go out like that. So, will we actually be able to fuel this many science machines? Almost certainly not. But we do have a bit of a stockpile on all the science types right now, so may as well be able to burn through it very quickly. How many more research servers do I have? Another 5? Yeah, I'll put down the last 5, just for fun. So yeah, if there's ever a point where I forget to do science for a long period of time, it would be nice to be able to catch up very quickly. Alright, that is that. Sort of a gargantuan thing, which probably might even run into belt speed limits, which is kind of crazy for science, but quite possible. Right now we run the belts along, and then we'll have to spend quite an amount of time connecting all the loaders up. So that connects, then that connects back. Then this connects back. Alright. Now for the fun part. We just have to spend a while clicking with the loaders. And basically nothing will happen until we're on the 5th batch of these, so hold your breath for the science starting up soon. Alright, so that's wave 1. Then we're on to the 2nd line of loaders. Didn't place for some reason. Alright. These are all getting in there. And finally we have the final line. So these all go in. I heard something happen just now. Not entirely sure what. Probably nothing. Alright, now we wrap around to this side. And we put all these in. Alright. No, don't put it sideways. That would be a very silly thing to do. Alright, almost there. Alright. And finally, one more batch. So these all go in like this. And the science machine will be finished once we just finish clicking on all these. And once we do, then we can start... Alright, so we've done all that. And the obvious next step is to just put in a research and see what happens. So let's do conveyor mark 4. That should be fun. Alright, so we have 20 active research servers, and each one takes 60 seconds to process one item. So even with all of this, it's not horribly fast, is it? I guess... I mean, this is going to take like, what, 5 minutes, right? Because there are 20 servers, we have to do 100, and it takes a minute per. So yeah, this should be done in just 5 minutes, which is quite respectable, honestly. All right, while we're doing researches, let's head back and do more space station upgrades, because we're gonna need them, because that's gonna be pretty much the next thing we're working on, is just maxing out production of all the various types of drones and all that stuff. Alright, space station, R&D lab, Lightbot, cells for more, huzzah! Station upgrades. Don't really need that. Docking facilities. Medium cargo ship tier 2 support. Sure, let's do that. That sounds fun. Alright. Actually, how are the spaceships going? We have only like, am I seeing that right? We have one ship on, we have like 1 or 2 ships on recurring market orders. That's probably fine. I think I'm going to want to buy another hangar, get more ships. Alright, but progress has been made. So now, hopefully pretty soon we'll see where the bottlenecks are in our research, if they exist. It really looks like concrete is going to be a problem. And yes, actually, green research is clearly a problem, and it's clearly because of concrete. So let's expand this out. Alright, something like that. And then how many casting machines do I have? I have another 5. I could double this, that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna need some more building material. So let's head over there and grab some of those. All right, building blocks acquired. now we go back to the casting machines, where we can fit one more in here, at least conveniently, without having to craft a whole bunch more. So that goes in, and it's there. I just realized I didn't copy and paste with the recipes, so now we're going to have to run through and do that. Alright, now we run the belts. There's a belt. There's a belt. And there's a belt. Alright, so then you all get short inputs for the cement. Then you all get medium inputs for the gravel. And you all get outputs. Alright, and we've also finished the conveyor research. Now let's put in the conveyor balancer research, because we also obviously need that. And while we're waiting on that, let's get all this stuff in. So these get elbows. So they get elbows, and that's the right side, right? Yeah. Just making sure I'm not doing something dumb. Then they need straight pieces. And then they need T-intersections. Feels like I need to be hooking more machines up than this. Yes, like this one. Alright. It was already partially done, so that's fine. Then we have to just put this long straight pipe in. Alright, and that is that. Concrete production enhanced significantly. It's now up to, what, 160? Which is not embarrassing, at least. Could really use to, like, double it again, but I only have so much patience for placing down machines. Alright. Concrete supply is going along. And the science is doing better, probably. Hard to say for sure. It's definitely not doing fantastically. Who would have thought? Of all the things, the primary problem is green science. Are all these running, actually? Ah, they've fallen into the ocean. Jetpack back up. Yeah, so all of these are still running as of now. The green science collapse hasn't quite fully materialized yet. Although some of these in the middle probably are starting to get low. Alright. Well, we have upgraded green science production. Hopefully good enough. And this is only 2 per minute each. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Alright. So there's 7 machines, 24 a minute. How much concrete is that? Let's get my good old phone calculator out and do the math. 7 times 24 is 168. Alright, so we're gonna... Technically we need 1 more of these. I guess I'll do that. So Get one more of those in, and then we'll have a surplus of concrete. Alright. Research is finished. So now let's go with plus 10 inventory slots. That seems great. Alright, then we attach this up and we tell it to make concrete. And we bring the pipe along and we just get this set up. Okay. In theory, we are now making slightly more concrete than we are using. Like, literally 8 more, but still technically more. So that is good. And then we're going to be getting a decent amount of that per minute. Alright, now we need to head over and get the space station upgrade going. We need to keep those going basically at all times. This inventory size upgrade is very slow, isn't it? So we go down here. Station upgrades. Let's see, what would I do? Hangar. So I could do that to get 4, or I could do that to get 10. Let's get 10 more. 10 more ship slots. That'll be handy to have. It's definitely going to be useful for expanding out my production supplies problems. Alright. Now what are we missing? I wonder if we've fixed the green science problem and now something else is the problem, or if green science is going to remain the problem. Okay. Looks like green science is still the issue. And I imagine that it's probably gotten to the point where not everything is running because of it. Although, like, the research we're currently doing is just so slow that maybe not. It does look, though, like we are getting concrete all the way to the back here. Maybe not 100%. Yeah, no, 100%. Alright. So we are getting concrete all the way. Barely. So the full concrete line is working. And well, I think the reasonable thing to do would be to say that this is like pretty good, right? This is 14 science a minute, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so this is 14 science a minute. Even like this giant array for the longer ones. Well, let's actually look. So most of these are like 50, 100, 300, 150, 500, 100, 500, 300, 200, 150. So like realistically, this is enough for most of the researches to be done within like 15 to 30 minutes. Like even the long ones, like the ones that require 500. 500 divided by 14 is going to be what, like a couple hours? Which is, I guess, not amazing. I would like to improve that. But be the most convenient way of improving that, because, like, expanding out this concrete is brutal. It is just the worst. But I guess I probably just have no choice. How many of these can I manage? 16, so I could double this again and be fine. I'm at 10 now, I could double it again and be up to 320. We might not have enough gravel, but then we could do that. Okay, let's double this again. Casting machines, where are you? Steam turbines, pump jacks, smelters, processor, casting machine. Alright, so let's just make another 10 of those. And just double this out again. And we're going to need a huge amount of space to do that, of course. It will result in massive science gains. Why do these buildings have to be both so large and so slow? Like, couldn't you pick one or the other? Alright, I think that is the last one we need. And I forgot to copy-paste them with the recipes again. So let's run back and put the recipes in. Alright, recipes. What a fun process. Alright, so that's that. Now we have to run these belts all the way along and probably run out of belts and have to go back and grab more. No, we make it there. But we are definitely going to need to restock on belts before we get all of this done. Yep, we have 11 belts left. That's not going to be enough to run the return trip. So let's head over and grab some belts, which are already, like, I built this sort of forward supply spot so I didn't have to run all the way across the factory. And I'm already at the point where I'm sort of just having to run all the way across the factory anyway. Alright, so we grab some of those, and should be fine on the other ones. Okay, jetpack almost didn't trigger, but we saved it in time. Alright, now we head all the way back here, and we run the return trip. This is probably the longest single production line, like in terms of sheer physical space, that we have. It's just ridiculous how much these take up. And I could have saved a lot of that by putting them the other way around, but it's sort of too late for that at this point. Alright, so these all get inputs. Then they all get medium inputs. Alright. And then finally they all get their outputs. So let's keep on going. And then we're going to have to attach the water pipes up, which is going to be a whole process. Alright, so the physical stuff is sorted. Now for the fluids. So we need corner pipes there. And then we have to go back And just a couple more passes, and then we will have this all set up. Unless we need to add a pump somewhere, which this is getting quite complicated, so maybe that might be necessary. Fortunately, it'll tell us if it is. Alright, so that's the first pass done. Second pass is these straight pieces here. And just keep on placing. Alright, then the next pass is the T intersections, which go here. And then the final pass, we just have to run along with the long straight belt, long straight pipe all the way across. Alright. We need more pipes, apparently. Let's get those crafting, and we really need to automate this. Alright, that should be enough. Probably. Alright, and keep on dragging this, and done. Alright, now does it work? It does. And they're starting up. Cool. Mission complete. Now once these start outputting, we should have literally double the concrete. There we go. Look at those all go out. Just perfectly synchronized. And yep, that is a whole lot of concrete. And now it is backing up to here, because this is the science production, so I need to place these in now. 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6. So this is 24 concrete times 15 is 360, which I think is more than we can manage anyways. Even with all this, I think we're producing 320. So we're gonna attach all this up and then see what happens. I suspect the answer will be the last couple of these don't run. But worth a shot. Maybe I did the math wrong. Alright, so there's those, and we also might run out of some other input at some point, which would be annoying. Alright, so those are all in. Now we have to put this belt, attach all these up, and boom. And will the concrete reach it all the way back? Maybe? Possibly. Will it be able to be there continually, though? Probably not. Alright, so that's that. That is way more science production. And hopefully green science won't be a limiter anymore. If we head up here, then hey, we see the occasional green science, but it's nothing crazy. Does it actually run out? Any of these? No. Like, the research we're running right now is just so incredibly slow. Like, it is unbelievably slow. Also, actually, this is backing up again. So we are currently, I believe, just visually, producing more science than we're using. that's good. And it looks like yellow science might also be a bit of a bottleneck. Is that because of any particular inputs, or is it just haven't built enough of it? Just haven't built enough of it, I think. So let's get a couple more of these in here. And drag those up. Send that back. And that one up. Alright, now we just power these on with the loaders, and gosh, I really need blueprints at some point. They would make everything so much easier. Alright, so those all go in, and then it all comes out. Alright, yellow science production upgraded. Oh, right, I forgot we have this box, so obviously it's going to look like that. We actually have plenty of yellow science, but now we have more. Huzzah. And also, I never limited this one, so never store more than 500, because that would be overkill. And yeah, the green science is definitely backing up. We'll see if that lasts once we're not researching like the slowest research on the planet, but it's looking good. Oh, a batch just finished and it went back quite a ways. That's funny. Alright, well, we have completed our goal for the day. We have once more started doing science. So I'm pretty happy with that overall. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for today then. We made a lot of progress. We have, I think, pretty comfortably solved the power situation at this point. And yeah, that's about that. I think we're going to wrap up now. Just check the power, see how it's looking. Oh yeah, that's doing just fine. It's not doing amazingly, but it's doing better than it was before by a lot. So I think we're going to call it there. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I will be streaming a Satisfactory tomorrow where we are... Gosh, see, every time I play one of these games, it just wipes my mind of what I was doing in the other game. Tomorrow in Satisfactory, we are working on our... What's it called? The flexible framework, or versatile framework production line, which requires a truly ridiculous amount of steel. So make sure to stop by if you're interested in Satisfactory. Otherwise, I will be here again on Thursday playing more Foundry. And I guess now that we have all of the science going, I'm going to start working on like just unlocking everything, and then I think we're going to start producing lots of different types of robots. And we'll see how long we go, but we'll see how long we go, like, in terms of unlocking all the space station upgrades and selling all the types of robots to all of the different planets, but definitely not finished with Foundry just yet. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stop by on Thursday. Stream every weekday from 2 to 5, various 3D factory games, and I will see you guys then. Bye.